Ferrari in 2022 with the new regulations started off so promising, but as the season went on, they just got worse and worse. There was a lot of hope for this season that they would put those wrongs right and be able to fight for or win the championship, but those hopes were shattered when the first race in Bahrain came. Red Bull was miles ahead of Ferrari, and it looked like the Scuderia would be in for a tough battle for P2 for the championship with Aston Martin and Mercedes. However, the battle for P2 for Ferrari has become very hard, and they seem to be far off it compared to Mercedes and Aston Martin, and in Silverstone they were even beaten by a Williams, but we'll get onto that soon. It's been another step backwards for Ferrari, and we will be diving into what exactly this means. To start off with, we'll be talking about what exactly happened in Silverstone and how they took a step back from the week previous in Austria. Then we'll be talking a little bit about the driver morale and everything that goes on over the team radio. And finally, we'll be talking about what exactly they could do for 2024 to be back on top and fighting for the championship. Let's get right into the action, shall we? Ferrari came into Silverstone having probably been the second quickest team in Austria just a week earlier, as they found a sweet spot with the upgrades that they first brought in at Spain. So, going into the British Grand Prix, there was a lot of optimism, and when the Ferraris qualified P4 and P5, they looked very good, but they were behind the McLarens. However, their race pace was unknown at that moment in time. So, come the race, it was very bad for Ferrari, as they would have an utter disaster in the race, with their pace not being as good as they thought. They would finish P9 and P10 after them having another strategy error once again for the second year. They would pit Leclerc very early compared to the rest, which put him in traffic, but also on a two-stop strategy, meaning he lost so many positions and eventually finished in P9. With Sainz, they decided that track position was important, just like 2022, and they left him out to dry on old hard tyres, whilst the majority of the grid was on the quicker used soft tyre. This meant that he was a sitting duck and was easily overtaken and finished behind his teammate in P10. To go from P4 and P5 on the grid to P9 and P10 is very disappointing when you look at what they did the week prior and got themselves a podium. They were beaten by Alex Albon in a Williams on pure pace, and they looked the polar opposite of Austria and only just got some points, which is a disaster when you look at it that way. Taking a step back from Austria is not a good sign for Ferrari, as they have seen McLaren go ahead of them. They are getting further away from Red Bull, and they look like they will be out of the battle for P2. Now, Silverstone could just be a one-off, and Hungary could be somewhere Ferrari can bounce back to show that they will still be in the battle for the second time in the championship. We will just have to sit back and see. How bad was it for Ferrari at Silverstone? Was it just a one-off, or will they bounce back in the coming race? Please drop a comment below and tell us what you think. Next up, we'll be touching on how the recent performances of Ferrari have affected the driver morale and how the team radio drama every race is not exactly helping them. With Leclerc and Sainz being such talented drivers, they both want to have the car to be able to win races and challenge for the championship. But this season, they have not been close to being able to do this, and if we're being honest, it has caused the drivers to become very frustrated, and you can feel that through the media, but also the team radio. A lot of the time we've heard Leclerc saying "we" when they make a mistake, and that is pretty much means he's blaming the team for some of his results. This is very true, such as in Silverstone, they did a strategy which was the complete opposite of everyone else, and on a number of occasions, Leclerc has been put out on traffic and some other reasons too. Over the team radio, there's often a lot of confusion at Ferrari with them letting their drivers pick their own strategy, which can be seen both ways. It can be seen as negative as the drivers have no belief on their own team due to what they did last year several times. Or it can be seen as a good thing as the drivers are the ones who are driving the cars and will be able to get the best feel for the car and how the tyres are reacting, for example. Sainz at Silverstone had to ask the team what plan B was, and even the engineer could not fully remember, and it does show a lack of organisation in the most successful team in the history of the sport. It's not a good look at all. With Leclerc's contract also being up very soon, the team have to be able to prove to him that things will get better, or they will lose one of the best talents in Formula 1 to a rival like Red Bull. Ferrari are on the back foot, but they have to be able to be bounced back to win the championship that they have been chasing for so many years and become that top team everyone knows that they can be. Finally, to end off this video on the disaster of a season that Ferrari is having, we'll be touching on what they can do so they will be fighting at the front come the start of the 2024 season. The most important but also tough factor is of course the car, which has been far from perfect this season. But if they finish lower down the championship, they will get more time to develop the car, so that is a bonus for sure. The team could decide to put their focus on the 2024 car instead of focusing on this season, which could mean they fall down the order massively. But they will see the rewards come Bahrain next year. Another thing that Ferrari must improve for the 2024 season is they need to be firm with the strategy and decide if the drivers will control it or if they will tell them what to do. They should be very firm and not have so many different plans and then forget what each one of them is. It's something that has to be fixed for the next year if they want to be a serious team and fight for a championship. Another thing that the team need to solve is the contract situation of both the drivers, and more importantly, Charles Leclerc. If they want Leclerc to be the man to win them the championship, they must tie him down to a new deal so he's not tempted to go to Red Bull or Mercedes, for example. They have to have the security, and by giving Leclerc a new long-term deal with the team will help them massively and will be one less thing to worry about. As for Sainz, they may tie him down for another deal, or they may look for another top driver in Norris for the future. They have to make that decision sooner rather than later. A final thing that the team has to fix for next season, if they want to win a championship, is that they have to act like a big team again and have that assertive management that is ruthless. You just have to look at Red Bull model, who are very ruthless, and they are working as they push for something, and they get it by sacking drivers, for example. Ferrari needs to act like the top team like they were for so long under the likes of Michael Schumacher many moons ago. There is still a lot to fix on the team, but if they do these things, it could be possible. Do you think that Ferrari will be able to be in a title fight come 2024? Or is there too much to do in a very short amount of time? Drop a comment below and let us know what you think. Thank you all so much for watching this video, and make sure you hit that like button and subscribe for more videos just like this one.